Everyone thinks Disney World is all magic and pixie dust, but here's the truth. You might walk 10 miles in a single day, spend 45 minutes just waiting for breakfast at your hotel, or even drop $250 to build a lightsaber. Nobody really tells you this stuff before your trip. So today, I'm counting down 6 things nobody warns you about at Walt Disney World. Let's dive in with a big one. Number 6. If there's one thing I wish somebody had told me before my very first trip, it's this. There's no such thing as an off-season at Disney World anymore. Years ago, people used to say, "Oh, go in the fall, it's dead," or "Go in March, the weather is comfortable." But these days, Disney has mastered the art of keeping those theme parks packed year-round. Sure, September is still your best bet if you're looking for lower crowds, kids are back in school, and it's still plenty hot here in Orlando. But honestly, outside of that, expect the parks to be busy. And Disney makes sure of it. They've always got something happening, from Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party in the fall to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, the festivals at Epcot, corporate conventions, and the big one, dance and cheer groups. They've filled the calendar, so there's always a reason for people to be at Disney World. So if you're planning your Orlando vacation thinking you'll have the Magic Kingdom to yourself, that's not going to happen. What about fireworks? This is where Disney planning really gets pretty serious. At Magic Kingdom, if you want that perfect view of Happily Ever After right in front of Cinderella Castle or down Main Street, USA, you can't just stroll up 5 minutes before showtime. People try it, but it's bad manners, don't do that. You've got to claim your spot 60 to 90 minutes early minimum. Same thing at Epcot with their nighttime spectacular. The prime railing spots along World Showcase Lagoon fill up fast. And if you're like me, you'll start noticing this little stress creeping in. Do I sacrifice an hour of ride time just to lock in a good view? Or do I risk it and stand behind a sea of shoulders and cell phones? This is the stuff nobody warns you about. Disney fireworks are beautiful, but if you want that Instagram-worthy spot, you're going to put in the time. Oh, and while we're on the subject of parks, let's talk about food. Quick service dining in the parks is a minefield at peak hours. Picture this, you've got a tray full of food and drinks, kids in tow, and now you're circling the restaurant like a vulture waiting for a table to open up. I've been there. My advice? Eat off-peak. Grab lunch at 11 a.m. or 2 p.m. instead of noon. Dinner at 4:30 or 8 instead of 6. And here's the big one. Get your table first, then order your food. Because otherwise you're balancing that tray as you search high and low for a table, trying not to spill your beverage into your food. Because Disney doesn't believe in the value of lids, even though it would improve customer satisfaction. Number 5. And speaking of food, let's move on to dining because this is a whole other beast. If you're staying at a Disney resort, especially a value or moderate, let me paint a picture of what mornings look like. You wake up, stumble down to the food court, and what do you find? Lines. Like theme park level lines just to get a Mickey waffle. And I'm not exaggerating when I say you might wait 30 to 45 minutes for that waffle. This is every morning. Everyone's trying to fuel up before heading out to the parks, and it's chaos. Now, Disney gives you a fantastic tool to help with this, and it's called Mobile Order. And let me tell you, Mobile Order is not optional anymore, it's essential. But here's what nobody warns you about. Just because you mobile order doesn't mean you'll skip the wait. You still might wait 30 minutes or so for your food, and wait again to pick up your food at the counter. So use it, yes, but plan for the delay. Here's a tip a lot of first-timers miss: Disney dining plans. Now, Disney doesn't really push these like they used to, but don't sleep on them. The quick service dining plan, for example, can be a lifesaver for budgeting. Instead of nickel and diming every meal, you've already prepaid. And that means you can choose what you actually want to eat without stressing over the prices. I've used it myself, and I'll say this. It feels good to order the steak instead of the chicken, just because you're not watching the bill climb. And the best part? There are very few menu exclusions, and nearly every major food location at Disney accepts it. I've got an entire video dedicated to how the Disney dining plans work. I added the link in the description for you. If you're doing Disney travel on a budget, the dining plan can simplify your planning in a way that nobody really talks about anymore. Sometimes Disney World offers free dining plans as a promotion, so always be on the lookout for that. Number 4. Okay, let's get into something that comes up a lot, especially on multi-generational family vacations: convenience rentals. Disney World is huge, like 50 square miles huge. On an average day in the parks, you're walking 7 to 10 miles. That's not an exaggeration. I've tracked it on my Fitbit and average about 20,000 steps per day. It's basically a marathon spread out over a week. So here's the warning nobody gives you. If you're not used to walking that much, start training before your trip. Get your Mickey miles in at home and build up your stamina. Now, what if you have kids? Or maybe someone in your group needs a little help with mobility. Disney does rent strollers, wheelchairs, and scooters, but here's the catch. You can't take them out of the parks. So if you need that stroller for the walk back to your room at night, you're out of luck. And they're not cheap either. Disney charges a premium for these rentals. I mean, you can probably rent a car for less money than a Disney stroller. And during busy times, strollers and scooters sell out. That's why I usually recommend renting from a third-party company instead. There are tons in Orlando, and they'll deliver right to your hotel. That way you've got your stroller or scooter for the whole trip, not just inside the parks. And here's another little known thing. Some Disney resorts are so spread out, you might actually need that scooter to get from your room to the lobby. Places like Caribbean Beach, Saratoga Springs, Old Key West, they're massive. Nobody tells you this when you're booking. They just say beautiful, sprawling resort grounds. But as one online review put it, what that means is you're hiking a half mile just to get coffee at the food court. Number 3. Now let's talk about money, because if there's one thing that shocks people on their first Disney World trip, it's how many hidden or unexpected costs pop up. Let's start with Lightning Lane. You probably know it's Disney's system to skip the lines, but here's the kicker. There's the standard Lightning Lane, and then there are individual Lightning Lanes for certain rides. So not only are you paying for the service, you might also pay extra just to ride the most popular attractions if you want to reduce weight. It adds up fast. Snacks? Yep, a bottle of water in Orlando parks will cost you about $5. A Mickey ice cream bar about $7. Multiply that by the number of people in your group every day of your trip, and suddenly you've spent hundreds just on snacks. When my cousin came down with her 4 kids, I bought everyone Mickey bars at Magic Kingdom. I spent $100 like it was nothing. Even grocery delivery at Disney has fees now. Let's say you want to save money by having some snacks or bottled water delivered to your resort. Disney charges a handling fee if Bell Services has to refrigerate and deliver it. And of course, don't forget the bellman's gratuity. Oh, and here's another kicker. Most deliveries can't go straight to your room, so you'll need to meet them in the lobby. If you're staying off-site, get ready for parking fees. Most non-Disney hotels charge for overnight parking, and on top of that, you'll pay to park at the theme parks too. Dining plans don't include gratuities. Cancel a dining reservation within 2 hours, that's another fee. But I like this fee actually. It keeps people from making contingency reservations, which ultimately makes it impossible for everyone else. Want those professional photos from PhotoPass? That's extra. But to Disney's credit, their photographers do great work. Or you can be like my parents and take your own photos. We have lots of photos of us being blinded by the sun just to get that castle picture. Then there are the wow upcharges, the ones that make you stop and say, wait, how much? Like Savi's workshop at Hollywood Studios, where you can build your own lightsaber. Super cool experience, but the price? Around $250 per person. And this is fine. I mean, even the cruise lines charge for the extra experiences. But some of the prices catch you off guard. And Disney is smart. They don't hide these costs, but they don't also spotlight them when you're booking the trip. Number 2. Alright, let's move on to hotels because Disney resorts have their own set of surprises. First off, here's one a lot of people complain about in online reviews. Disney charges a nightly fee for the 3rd and 4th adult in a standard room. It's about $30 per person per night. Now, this doesn't apply to villas, cabins, or suites, but for standard rooms, it's built into the price. I used to get this question a lot when I was a travel agent. Would it be cheaper to upgrade to a suite just to avoid the fee? And the answer is always no. There are no suites that cost only $60 more per night than a standard room, so don't bank on that. Now, I want to call your attention to a few things at the Disney Deluxe resorts. They're expensive, like $700 to $1,200 a night expensive, which is a lot for a hotel room in Orlando. But here's the truth. They're not 5-star resorts. If you're expecting turn-down service, adult-only pools, full-service spas, training staff in the fitness centers, and so on, you're going to be disappointed. They feel more like high-end chain hotels with Disney theming. I mean, some still don't even have USB ports yet. I read comments where some people are expecting opulent properties like those found in world-class cities. That said, Disney's best resorts focus on immersive experiences and the convenience of being near the parks. Plus, you get perks that are unique to Disney. Extended evening hours at Magic Kingdom and Epcot on select nights, multiple dining options, character meals, and some truly impressive pools. So while it's not a Four Seasons, it's still worth the experience. Let's switch gears to value resorts because this is where a lot of people get surprised. From January through May, Disney is crawling with youth groups, cheer squads, dance teams, school bands. And where do they stay? Disney's value resorts. All-star sports, all-star music, and sometimes even Pop Century. Thousands of middle schoolers practicing routines in the courtyards, taking over the food court, crowding the pools. One online review mentions that the coaches were directing practice right outside the rooms with bullhorns. So if you're booking a value resort during competition season, call Disney first. Ask if there are any youth groups booked. If the answer is yes, consider similarly priced hotels like Pop Century, Art of Animation, or even a moderate like Coronado Springs. And here's another quirk of the value resorts: no traditional bell services. Instead, they have scheduled luggage delivery, which means your bags might not arrive for a few hours. Honestly, you're better off handling your own bags if you can. Number 1. And finally, the number one thing nobody warns you about at Disney World: transportation. On one of my first trips, someone casually mentioned that buses could take a while. I thought, okay, maybe 20 minutes. Nope, try 60, maybe even longer. Here's the deal. Disney transportation is amazing in the sense that it's included and connects everything, but it's still public transit. This means waiting, crowds, and of course delays. Buses run every 20 minutes on average, but that doesn't mean you'll walk right on. I've waited through 2, sometimes 3 buses at value resorts before finally getting on. That's because the lines can be huge in the morning rush. In fact, the value resorts even have designated bus queues like airport security lines, just to manage the crowds. I'll bet you didn't see that in the brochure. And at moderates, it gets even trickier. These resorts are so spread out that they have multiple internal stops. So by the time the bus gets to your stop, it might already be full. You could be standing shoulder to shoulder the entire ride or waiting for the next one. And even if you get on, you'll have to go all around the resort making multiple stops when you're excited to just get going. Even deluxe resorts share buses. For example, staying at the Polynesian, your bus might stop at the Grand Floridian too before heading to the park. This all adds time. And the same is true at park closing, like right after fireworks as thousands of people head for the buses all at once. You'll wait for 3 or 4 buses before you can get on. And here's the one thing that parents hate to hear. If you're using Disney World buses or boats, you've got to fold up your stroller completely, which means if your kid is asleep, you're waking them up. I've seen parents argue with bus drivers about this, but it's non-negotiable. And don't argue with bus drivers, they're awesome. So pack light in that stroller, don't load it up like you're trekking the Sahara, because you will be unpacking it to get on. The moral here, Disney transportation works, but it takes time. If you need to be somewhere like that 8 a.m. breakfast at Magic Kingdom, leave at least 60 to 90 minutes early. I've got an entire video that simplifies Disney transportation so you're not stressed about getting around. I also show you one of the best new features that will have you avoiding that 90-minute commute at park closing. I'll see you over there.